Hi, I'm Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm Beleaf Mel.
You're here with episode 6 of
How Married Are You? We're touring, we're traveling.
We're touring?
No, we're traveling back home from Dallas, Texas. It's been a very eventful time. When we got to Dallas, it was amazing. Everything was amazing when we got there. Most things were amazing when we got there. But the drives have not been as great as we would, have liked. This has been a test on our mental health. My mental health, I would say, more than Yvette's. She's just usually more positive about things, and I happen to dwell in a deep pool of my own sorrow.
That is a very good point. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you acknowledged that.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm Mr. Negative all the time.
No, but if something is happening, you do have a way of picking out the not so positive thing that happened and just dwelling on it for longer than necessary.
I mean, I feel like that's debatable. I feel like that's debatable.
It's debatable?
Yeah, I mean, longer than necessary. How long is necessary?
Not as long as you be dwelling on it.
Anyway.
This road trip, I don't feel like has been horrible.
It hasn't been horrible.
I know. And so I feel like this car is not necessarily conducive to traveling with a family of 5 across 3-4 states that we went through.
Sure. And so I'm,
okay, go ahead. Sorry.
And so we tried to do this already, this podcast, and I started to think about everything I have on my plate and everything that is coming up. So when I say dwell, I mean it's compiled on top of the things that are already weighing heavy on me at the moment, And so when I think of doing this right, I think we pushed this out for a long time. Instead of trying to hop back on it again, you're ready to get back up on the saddle and try again. You know what I'm saying? This is what I would do better next time. Now let's apply it.
Yeah.
And so I'm more of okay, that was fun. That was fine. Just like camping. We're going to take an extended time and leave. We're not going to try this again until we can afford to do it right. And I mostly say yes to a lot of things so that you can get it out of your system.
And I don't get it out of my system.
No.
What's wrong? The mic's not okay?
I'm just trying to make sure you're weaving
Why do you always have to talk about my weave?
Your hair isn't touching
Thank you. It's my hair.
That's debatable.
I paid for this.
We paid for it. So technically it's our hair.
Well, then why do you be
And I'm calling my part of it weave.
Babe.
Anyway.
God.
Okay, so we're on this. You want to pull up?
Okay, so we're on a road trip, so there's nothing really going on. So I'm on Instagram, and I did the whole, Instagram has this new app or this new feature where you can do ask me anything, or people can comment. And so I did the whole ask me anything, and I am overwhelmed by all the questions I've gotten. I don't think I'm going to be able to answer them all. And some of them I don't want to answer, to be honest. Some of them I'm skipping over. But anyway, someone asked me a question. I don't even remember. Oh, someone's getting married next year. And they were like, do you have any advice or blah, 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 blah. And I wrote a bunch of different things. And then I said, leave and cleave, ! And so many people responded to that saying, can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by leave and cleave? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, really? I didn't think it was such a, it seems obvious, but maybe it's not. So I'm trying to find the scripture about it so that I can read it so that we can talk about it.
It says that a man shall leave his father's home and cleave to his wife.
But,
let's find the address.
Yeah. I want to read it from...
So on our way driving, we've committed genocide on many insects. All types of insects.
Gross, you can hear them hitting the windshield.
Yeah, you can hear it. And honestly, I feel like we're doing the world a favor. Because some of these bugs are just gross.
Genesis 2:24.
Okay.
It's also Matthew 19:5. Hold on, let's go to both. Okay, so Genesis 2:24. My battery is about to die.
Here you go.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Look at this.
You want to use mine?
Yeah. Genesis 2:24 says, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And the man and his wife were both naked and were not ashamed." That was verse 25. This didn't actually use, this is the ESV version. But the King James version is the one that says, Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Have you not read, who created them from the beginning made them male and female, and said, Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let no man separate. And then he went on to say, because of your hardness of heart, Moses allowed you to divorce your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, and marries another, commits adultery. Do you want me to keep reading?
No, I think that's good.
Yeah.
So
why is it important to leave and cleave? And is that a command because it's talking to the husband, to the man, but is that a command for just the husband, or is that a command for the wife as well?
You know, I'm sure there's like a translation, a Hebrew translation that explains it in more depth, and that is like the right thing, you know what I'm saying? But I can only pick up from like what I know, what I've studied, and what's right here presented to me and what I've experienced. And I feel like a lot of that leaving and cleaving thing is very practical. So most of it we can think about it in a practical sense. And you and I are now one. So my father, my mother, your father, your mother don't necessarily have a say in our marriage, right? And that means not only your father, but your people, my people, you know what I'm saying? Like, we are now one. So let no man separate. So don't allow anything to come in between you and your husband, you and your spouse, you and your wife, you know? But I think it's interesting that Jesus is being asked this question because he is the groom of the church. So even the father, like, this is gonna sound crazy and this may be like completely off, but even the father wouldn't want to intervene and separate Jesus and his bride.
Wow.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that he would die for her, and that he would give everything for her. Like, even the father wouldn't separate.
Wow.
So I feel like
he gave his blessing for that relationship. Right?
Yeah. And it was naturally the giving away. Like, I think a ceremony, a wedding ceremony is very like a ceremony is like, yo, who gives this woman to take this man? And you see this exchange of like, okay, the woman crosses this threshold, and it becomes this one, and it's like, okay, I've let go at this point. And so now that is the image of two people becoming one. And then that is like the physical, that's the physical representation of that. And also sex is the physical representation of that. But the rest of the marriage, like after that, is the like application of mind and spirit, where you have a choice every single time you make a decision to become one flesh and cleave to your wife. Now, we have examples of this in our marriage. Now, because...
And I just want to, because for those people, hopefully those people who were asking me to elaborate on leave and cleave are listening to this, but that's exactly what I was saying when I said that. Like, when you get married, you have to it has to be more so about you and your husband, or your husband and wife, than it is about anybody else. Like, you guys can definitely hear wisdom or glean wisdom from other people, but you can't allow them to be the ultimate influence in your marriage and how you interact with your spouse.
Yeah.
Is basically what I was trying to say.
And so you're speaking from experience.
I am speaking from experience.
All right, elaborate.
What do you mean elaborate?
I mean, do you want me to pull out the receipts?
I don't know. I don't have any one specific thing in mind right now. What are you?
Well, I feel like
Okay.
because I'm not an orphan, but I don't have the best relationships with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So it was real easy for me to be like, peace.
Yeah.
I'm gone. Your opinion is cool, but I will not be taking that as gospel, and I will not be using that to, really make my decisions so much. But you, on the other hand, have a very close relationship with your mom. Shout out to mom, because I know she's listening. You have a very close relationship with your mom, and that came to a head several times in our marriage, to where you had to choose whether you were going to listen to your husband or your mom.
For example.
Okay, receipts. I have receipts.
Just tell the receipt. You don't have to do all this.
Yeah, I'm dramatic. This is part of the show. So, Theophilus, baby dedication.
Oh my gosh. If mom is listening to this, I know she's boiling.
I know she's boiling because she was hot. So, Theophilus is maybe a year old, a little bit less than a year old.
No, Theo was 3 months old when we did his baby dedication.
Okay, yeah, he was super young.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, we're going to have this baby dedication. Now, Yvette, if you know anything about Yvette, she's always trying to plan these events. She does a great job. They're always amazing. She does a great job putting on events. I didn't think it was a skill until I went to somebody else's event, and I was like, oh, my wife is actually good at this. And so she puts on these events, and it was like a big deal. I think my grandmother was in town. Both my grandmothers was in town. It was something like that.
Wasn't Beleaf in town too?
Yeah, Beleaf was in town. It was interesting.
My butt hurts.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm
uncomfortable. Sorry, guys.
So we're getting ready for this thing, and Yvette's like, okay, what outfit do you want Theo to wear? And I'm
okay, so let's just back it up a little bit. No. It wasn't. I didn't even ask your opinion about.
No, you were looking at stuff and showing me.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, for a baby dedication.
Baby, your mic.
I'm sure they can still hear me. For a baby dedication.
Please, man.
Oh my God.
Please fix your hair. How about you attach
it to my hair?
Your hair, yeah.
You're such a dork.
Boom, look at that. Problem solved.
Anyways, if you've ever attended anything like a christening or a baby dedication or whatever, generally, I'm just going to ask this question and we're going to pause for a minute and everybody answer it.
Yeah,
the question
answer the question in voice memo on Anchor if you're on Anchor.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Pause and answer it. So, what color does the child wear when they are getting dedicated or whatever? Answer that question right now. You can answer it mentally. You can answer it through voice memo. You can even comment in the comment section below. But what color do they wear? Okay, so if you're a normal human being with any kind of background, I'm just kidding. Anyways, if you have any experience with this, everybody knows that the child wears white. White is the color that the child wears. So prior to the actual dedication, I'm over here looking online and in stores for a white outfit for Theo to wear. Excuse me. My mom knows that I'm looking for a white outfit for Theo to wear.
Now, I was not considered in this thing. Now we're talking about.
You just admitted moments ago that you were considered.
Listen.
Because I was asking you, what do you think about
But
this?
when you were trying to figure out what to wear and you were telling your mom, I wasn't aware that you were bringing her into the conversation. It was you were consulting me and you were consulting your mom.
Okay.
Okay? Now, we're talking about two different types of people, where Yvette has grown up in a very traditional life and church and people, and I'm very much anti-establishment. What's the rules? I'm not doing it. I'm very much against everything, really, because I'm hard-headed and I'm childish. However, Yvette, very traditional, okay? So let's move on. Are you gonna?
Okay, so, I ended up I think I got something for Theo to wear, but I wasn't really too excited for it. And my mom ended up finding a white suit type thing. I think it was like shorts and a vest.
It was satin.
It was
It was very shiny, and it had a hat. He had a hat.
Yes, she found an outfit, and so
She bought it.
I'm gonna let Glenn take the story from here.
So she found the outfit, and she bought it, and she was so excited about it. She was so excited. And I remember we were at the event getting ready, because we had already found something else for him to wear, and Yvette brought that outfit upstairs, and she was like, look what my mom got. No, I had already mentioned that I didn't want him wearing an outfit like that. I was like, I don't want my son in that. I don't like it, you know. And so I remember Yvette bringing it upstairs, and her mom coming in and being like, and I don't know how, but I was presented with like my first reaction to the outfit, and her mom was present. And I just was like, I don't like it, and I don't want him in that, and he's not wearing it. And the look on Yvette's mom's face was so like hurt. She was in so much pain, and just like, I don't understand, like, why, like, she didn't understand like why I would say no to something like this. And I was just as confused on why she would want to put my son in a white satin jump off. You know, it looked like some real, like, I didn't like it, you know. And so
we'll flash a picture right here.
Yeah. And so
if you're watching,
do we have actual pictures of him?
We have pictures. We have pictures. He wore. Can you stop being so concerned about the mic? He wore it.
Oh. He ended up wearing it?
Didn't he?
I don't think so. And so what happened was, we're sitting in the room, and I'm looking at Yvette, and I'm like, I don't want him wearing it. I don't know why you brought your mom up here. And she's like, well, you can tell her that you don't want him to wear it. Yeah, she didn't want to tell her mom that I didn't want him to wear it. It was like, you tell him, because I don't want to deal with the consequences of my mother being upset. Or hurt. Upset and hurt, same thing. But I was like, well, that's not my responsibility. Like, I don't want him to wear it. You tell her, you know? You tell her that we don't want her to wear it. And she's like, well, I don't care, but you care, so I'm not getting it. It almost was like she was like scared of getting in trouble. And I was like, and she was like, in the room, her mother and me is in the room, and she goes, see, now I'm confused, because I don't know whether to listen to my husband or my mom.
Did I say that out loud?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I was heartbroken. And I was like, and it was like, she was so hurt. And I was just like, man, like, and it could have been like, I could have just been like, yeah, sure, he can wear that, whatever. But I'm really big on like,
babe, he did wear it.
and I was hurt. I was really hurt.
You were hurt. Everybody was upset. It was supposed to be a joyous occasion.
Yeah, her mom was mad at me. They can't see that. Her mom was mad at me. I was mad at Yvette for throwing me under the bus. And Yvette was just in the middle of this awkwardness. And it was very sad.
And you can see Glen's fake smiles.
Yeah.
After the dedication happened.
Yeah. Because I didn't understand why it was even a choice over who you should listen to or who you should consider. And so,
I tell you what, I feel like having children is one of the, when you have children, that whole leave and cleave thing does start to come into effect even more so. Because like more decisions are being made, and parents have opinions on how you should raise your children. Like, I remember when we decided to do homeschooling, it was kind of like, really? Like, what about the socialization aspect of it?
I mean, it was everything from like the child's name.
Oh.
What's the child's name? Theophilus. I don't like it. Well, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was so much opinion, and it's always like that. But I just think that's one thing that happened. That's like, okay, here's a perfect example of how.
Yeah.
In that case, it would have been best for you to listen to your husband and consider me over your mother.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would have been a good way to establish us.
Well, we already know I have an issue with submission.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
but
don't even know if that was submission or.
But you also have I don't know. I don't think it's submission. I think it's like.
I have people pleasing.
Yeah, you like to please people.
I didn't know that I had that.
And you can't say no to other people, and it's happened time and time and time again.
Yeah,
where
I'm
I'd be
just
like,
realizing.
yo, I don't want you to do this, and you're like, but she asked me to, and it's not your mother. But I'm like, I don't care. I don't want you to do it, and you're like, well, I'm just gonna do it. And we were just having a conversation on this exact road where I said, hey, I don't think it's a good time for us to go. Can I talk about it?
I guess. You already started.
I mean, I don't have to finish.
What?
Yeah, well, I feel like this. It's a good story. It's a good story. So I'm sitting up here like, listen, Yvette wants to go on another road trip, and
No, okay, so here's the thing.
why you always cut me off?
Because you always start the stories like not the way that it's supposed to be started. So my brother just bought a home in Tennessee, and
He just built the home, like
built a home in Tennessee, and so
he's not looking for anybody.
and so I know every time I bring up my brothers, people are always like, "Is he single? Can I get his number?" Anyway, he built a home, and he wants to have all of his family come to his home for Thanksgiving. And so we discussed it, and we were like, okay, we'll drive out there. And it was my idea because I know that airfare is super expensive. I know that airfare is super expensive. Lord, your sneeze is going to take us off the road?
No, now listen.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't that. We said let's drive. You said I want to go visit my brother in Tennessee. We looked up ticket prices. You were like, dang, that's expensive. Let's drive. And I never was like, yes. I always was like, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to be a good idea. Who's going to drive? Right? But when we talked about it, one of our big goals this year was to be debt free. And I was like, man, the only way we can go is if we're debt free. We can go to Dave Ramsey, go on the Dave Ramsey show and do the debt free screen. But we ain't going to be debt free.
We're not going to be debt free this year. And so when we came to that conclusion, we still said that we would go. Like, we've had multiple conversations about this.
I was never really sold in. I just been
But he allowed me to confirm with my brother that we are going. Now that we've experienced this trip.
Halfway. This is a halfway point.
Yeah, like Texas was a halfway.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's not actually. It would only been like 8 more hours,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, right. So, yeah. That actually seems doable now. Anyway, this was kind of for Glen, it was a trial run. I didn't necessarily realize it was a trial run, but it's a trial run. And I will say, like Glen said, like, we've been doing this, and I'm not necessarily thinking that this is horrible. Like, I think we have definitely learned some things about how we could successfully complete a road trip of this capacity in the future. But Glen's like, okay, we went camping. We're not going to go camping for another 5 years because, we don't have...
Not what I said. Go ahead.
Whatever. Or, like, we just took a road trip. Okay, that's the road trip for the year. We're done. We don't need to take any more road trips for the year. That's what you... Is that not what you just said?
No, it's just interesting what I told you and what you received. Continue.
Anyway, so now he's like, I don't think we should go. But I'm like, I told my brother, he got us an Airbnb, and... he like even asked me, he's like, are you sure? Because I'm about to put this money down on the Airbnb. And I was like, yes. And then that was it.
Yeah, so the reason,
so now I'm a little bit bummed because I don't, and now, okay, so now I'm dealing with this whole issue, like, do I disappoint my brother and, like, go ahead and tell him that we can't come anymore, which would be honoring my husband.
Do you feel how
wrong that sounds?
Yeah, it just sounds bad.
It sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I know, but it's still hard.
No, it's not.
Because here's the thing, like Glen is saying, it sacrifices him time to work, and it puts more pressure.
This is not what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh.
See, right now what you're doing is you're creating a deficit for me to, like, get out of with them. Can I explain? With them, because you're not saying what I told you.
Okay, well then you talk.
I'm saying like this. This is what I'm saying. Every time we go on a trip right now, like one, we have goals, right? We have long-term goals and short-term goals. Tennessee was not a short-term goal. Listen to me.
I am listening.
You're not, because I want you to.
How can I not be listening? What do I need to do to let you know?
Just focus. Don't drink.
Let me just get one sip in. What?
Listen.
That has nothing to do.
You don't even care what I have to say. All right. So we have long-term goals and short-term goals. Dallas was not a short-term goal, but we made it happen, and to God be the glory, we got this dirt cheap Airbnb, amazing. Mom let us borrow her car, amazing. We had a little bit of extra money to pay for gas, a lot of extra money to pay for gas, amazing. We received some bumps along the way, but we got through it. What I'm realizing about the process, right, is that these things right here hinder the goals that are really gonna help us go forward in our immediate future, okay? So when we take these trips, it's not just hard for me, is that I'm already in a deficit with taxes stuff, with work. I have to speak in Chicago for 1 hour and 45 minutes. I don't have a thing written down for it. I also have to produce videos. I have to go out of town in August. My mom's coming in town. Our anniversary is coming up. All I'm saying is I think there's a time and place for everything, and these type of things need to be planned out. I would like...
This trip is in November. It was talked about like since he built the house, which was a couple months ago.
Yeah. And I'm just saying that though it would be great, gosh, see?
What? See what?
You're already, oh my gosh, and you're already gone. I asked you to give me your full undivided attention. What are you reaching for?
My shades, because the sun is freaking shining bright.
Squint. Listen to me.
Woo, stop.
I'm just saying that I would like you to consider our vision in the plan, because after we accomplish 2 years of this hard, tough work and like sacrifice, we can go on as many trips as you want. I feel like that is a real thing, but I don't see that you see it. And so when we were driving, I was like, babe, I really don't want to go. And you're like, well, I already told my brother. I'm like, okay, cool, but I'm standing. I still don't want to go. And you're like, well, what about what I want? And I'm like, well, yeah, but what about what I want? You know what I mean? And so it's like this thing where it's kind of like, instead of just saying, you're right, or I do care about what you want too, it was like she was trying to figure out how she could maneuver me, because I'm just an obstacle around what she wants, in front of what she wants to do. And so I just feel like we could be more of a team. I feel like we're a team in some things, but we could be better. And I don't know what's going on in your head. I feel like you just want to do what you want to do, and I have to bear it. I have to deal with whatever you want to do. How do you feel?
I feel like all you want to do is work.
For now.
And that, like even if I were just to let you work, like I'm about ready to just go do my own stuff with the kids by myself. But the thing is, I want you to be a part of all those things.
And the thing is, it's like...
What's the matter, baby? Huh? Why is she up?
I don't know, man. All right, so we couldn't really finish this conversation because Anaya started crying. We just kind of got flustered, and I don't even know if we were really in a good space to argue our points well. And so I think being in the car for that long was...
The ride back was rough.
The ride back was very rough. And so I don't know if we actually have a solution to leave and cleave. We are just able to practice it.
We are just able to practice it?
Like, we're just able to practice leaving and cleaving. You know what I'm saying? Like, when my mom's coming in town. there's another opportunity for me to practice that.
Which you know you're not going to have any issue with.
I know I'm not going to have any issues with it.
So then why are you going to act like you
But you never know, you know what I'm saying? Like something may come up, you know? And it's the same, you know, my dad. And where are we at with this? Did we actually figure out a solution? How was the car ride home for you?
It was rough. Not because the kids did bad or anything. It was just, you know, you were headed back home.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you were headed back somewhere exciting or headed to somewhere exciting.
Home is not exciting for you?
Maybe it would be.
You're just an adventurer. You like Comedy San Diego. Always traveling and discovering mysteries and stuff like that. You don't know that cartoon?
I do know that cartoon.
Yeah. I married Carmen San Diego. It's crazy. So anyway, as far as this whole leave and cleave thing goes, we're still having the same conversations about Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Anthony has no idea, so Anthony knows now.
If he's listening to this,
if he's listening, this is where we're at with it.
Don't give up hope, Anthony. I haven't.
Yeah. How do you feel like I came back? Do you feel like I was in a good space when I came back?
I'm sorry, came back from where?
Came back from Dallas, then hopped on the plane and went to Chicago, then came back from Chicago. How do you feel like your husband was doing?
Tired. You weren't in a good space. You were tired. You had done back-to-back trips. You were feeling overwhelmed by the work you had to get done. Mm-hmm. Your workspace was not clean.
And we missed a podcast date.
And we missed podcast twice, this week and last week.
Yeah. So, but I guess it's...
You guess what?
Like, that doesn't matter? Like, that is that not, like...
It does matter.
Is that a win? Is that a loss?
I think that it does matter. What is your point with all this?
I'm just asking because you're like, Anthony, don't give up hope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't given up hope, but like, I'm hoping for stuff too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I think that we could have planned better.
I think we had an amazing plan.
But I'm just saying, like, we could have planned work better. Like, I know it wasn't a work, well, it's kind of a work trip, but kind of not. But, you know, like, I think we can still adventure, but make time for work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know if you were up for that. The way you're looking at me. Nobody can see how you're looking at me right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so...
Respond to that.
I agree. You know, I agree. We can do work better. I can accomplish a lot more.
Can I just say this one thing?
Sure.
I know I'm interrupting you. But the leading up to Texas, you put out more content than I had seen you put out in a week's time before. Like, in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you knew the trip was coming, and so you were just getting stuff done and put out.
That wasn't really because of the trip. It was because I had deadlines. You know, I had a video that was sitting in the chamber, just waiting to come out, and then those other two stories kind of told themselves. It wasn't difficult.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about, you know, does your fun come at the expense of, does your adventure come at the expense of our goals?
No, we're talking about leaving and cleaving because my adventure doesn't happen very often.
Tried to juke the hell out of me right now. I asked you, I said what we were talking about currently, and you talking about leaving and cleaving. Whatever.
What? No, listen, what are you talking about? No, babe.
Okay.
Here's the thing. We got off topic because you brought up the receipt of the trip to Tennessee, mm-hmm. which led to my desire for adventure, mm-hmm. which led to this question that you just posed, mm-hmm. which has nothing to do with this podcast.
But it does have something to do with leaving and cleaving, because what you're cleaving to is either your own desire or your brother's desire, not what's best for us as a family, as a whole.
Well, the thing is, I don't think it's gonna hurt. Like, I think being with family is good. So maybe I just don't do good at leaving and cleaving. I don't know. But I don't think it's going to harm our family. I do believe you believe it's going to harm you and your time to work. Is that what you're concerned about?
Yeah, but it's not so much work. It is, hey, we have like goals that we want to accomplish. And if I can stay consistently scheduled and like I feel full and excited and bright, you know what I'm saying? Taking me away from those things makes me feel lost and overwhelmed and curious, you know what I'm saying? And also makes me feel like I'm backtracking.
And that makes me feel like that's all that matters. Because I believe that if it were up to you, you would work. I know that you do a good job at like making time for us, but that would just mean that we're here working. Like, I know I've seen like you feel you're more joyful or happy when you are productive, which I appreciate, and I really want you to have productivity in your life. But I also feel like there needs to be some time for a lack of productivity.
Sounds terrible.
But like productivity can look different. Like I think it could be productive for us to be with family on Thanksgiving. We're trying to do this whole thing where we alternate families every year, and this year it's my family.
Yeah, but ain't nobody telling them to go play hide and go seek all the way across the daggone country.
They're not playing hide and go seek.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, and so I'm not saying that we stop forever. I'm just saying we take a season to grind, and then after we come out of that season, we could go on as many adventures as you want. You know what I'm saying? And so we all know that belief in fatherhood isn't gonna last forever. You know. And so as we make these videos, and like I feel like this is prime, I just want to be consistent.
I'm just curious, would it be weird if you just sent me and the kids and you stayed home?
I don't mind that.
I know I would feel uncomfortable being apart from you on such a momentous holiday.
Yeah, I think you would definitely play yourself.
Just another day.
Yeah, I think you would play yourself. And this is not like I'm not big on holidays, right? So for everyone who's listening, like it's not that she's like, oh, why would you leave your husband alone on that? Like I really don't. Like holiday, my birthday, like it's all another day. You know what I'm saying? Like I could go and move forward, and you know what I'm saying? Like that's just me. But Yvette she likes to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? And that's really cool about her and her family. They like to celebrate, and they celebrate people well.
Yeah, like why don't you just send us for that week, and then you fly in the day before and leave the day after?
Because I'm not gonna have you drive across country.
Oh no, I wasn't planning on driving if I go by myself.
Oh, okay. Who's gonna drive?
No, I'm not planning on driving.
Oh, you're talking about me sending
us in an airplane.
No, we're not doing that. Like we're just not there.
Well, John could drive.
No. That is not happening. Anyway, babe, how married are you?
I'm so married that I'm confused.
What? Ugh.
I'm so confused. I don't know what I'm supposed to do in this situation.
Really?
I mean, I feel like the right thing to do is to stay home for that whole week, be bored, watch you work, hang out with the kids. Oh my
gosh, be bored and watch you work. First of all, last Thanksgiving, I made a bomb turkey. We had the most fantastic little meal up for ourselves on Thanksgiving. We had a really good time. And we chose not to have it with other people. That was a solo holiday.
Well, no, we went to your family's house.
Yeah.
To your sister's house.
Yeah, but we had our own little celebration, and it was amazing.
And we can still do that.
Yeah, boring. But I feel like I'm supposed to, like, love you like Christ loved the church, die to myself, and go.
Hallelujah.
Right? That's what I feel like I'm supposed to do.
You preach,
but I know better than to believe on my feelings. You know what I'm saying? I know the heart is deceitful.
Your laugh is so evil.
The heart is deceitful. And so I'm like, also like, all right, Mrs. Melanin, I need you.
Mrs. Melanin, I'm Yvette.
Right, I need you. But I'm calling you Mrs. Melanin because I feel like we're in business together. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, I see the mountain. And if you could just help me climb, that would be so amazing. I feel like I do a lot. Like when you tell me, like when you say you want to do stuff, I think about it and I like try to make it happen. But I just feel like one of these days you're going to be like, yeah, and the cruise was only $8,000 and he didn't want to go. It was not like we don't have the money, and I'm going to get guilt tripped in. I feel like I'm being guilt tripped. That's what I feel like. So I don't necessarily, it's not like, oh, you know, like it's not that I don't want to see your brother. It's not that I don't want to see your family, but it's just that I don't want to go like thinking about, it's only me. It's just me, you know, and you really. And now I'm getting other people to help, but like it's really me and you who run this business. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry. I feel bad, but you never know how this ends, guys. Will Glen
what will we
submit to his wife?
No, it's not a matter of submitting to me. It's a matter of us really thinking it out and seeing if it's possible.
Let me rephrase it. Will Yvette cleave to her husband, or will she? Okay, let me rephrase it.
You're dumb.
Will they be aligned? Because that's really all that matters. Not agreement, but alignment. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
Okay. So somebody got to go and follow. Babe, how married are you?
I'm so married that if you had a pimple on your lip, I would still kiss you, even if it was oozing with a whitehead.
That is so not true.
Yes,
it is not. I've had a crumb on my lip and you was like, ooh.
I wiped it off for you and then I gave you a kiss. But if the pimple was there and it wasn't going nowhere, baby, you'd still have my lips on yours.
Yeah. That's gross.
Babe. Babe, how married are you?
I am so married that you asked me.
You will go today.
The other day, last night, you asked me to get some Nutter Butters and I
brought
back
gosh.
some gummy bears. Nutter Butters and gummy bears. Yep. And I hid the gummy bears. So the next time you ask me, I don't have to go to the store. I can just come in my hiding spot and bring you a little a little dime bag.
Babe, I need to make sure your
gummies.
hiding spot is good because I don't want ants or anything to get it.
Get out of here. I don't want you in here searching around for my stash.
It's my stash.
Okay.
You don't eat them, okay?
I don't eat them, but I know if I gave that whole bag to you, they would be sitting under your bed.
Babe, and I know
they would be sitting under your bed and you'd be eating them in the middle of the night while you're feeding Anaya or whatever. Handfuls. Say it ain't true. Look, you can't even stop laughing.
All right, guys. That's just how married we are.